Here's Carlos Sanchez, 0 for 3. He's due. And there is a shot into left field. Base hit. Sanchez does it. And this ball game is over. We are coming to you from the city beautiful, Chicago, Illinois, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Abacio Garcia, Jose Abreu, Melky Cabrera and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Jason Kipnis, Michael Brantley, and the Cleveland Indians. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrell. Since we get set to bring you Game 2 of this 4-game setting, Game 2 of the 7-game homestand. We'll have 4 with these guys, finish off with 3 over the weekend with Minnesota. If you missed last night's ball game, you missed an absolute classic. It was a 2-1 Sox victory. We had 2 great pitchers out there, Chris Sale and Corey Kluber, and I'll tell you what, they were going like John Wesley Hardin and Wyatt up at one another. In fact, I talked to Chris after the game. He said it was. We were going toe-to-toe, and we were both having a great time. But we won that ball game last night on a little bit of hustle and some good play.
You very rarely get a matchup that lives up to its billing, but last night was exactly that, and without a whole lot of hustle, it might not have happened. This breaking ball in the dirt, and Adam Eaton's at third base, and he takes off. Now he's tagged out, but fortunately, Perez has the ball just drift away. So that tied the game at 1. Now we'll fast forward to the 10th inning. Connor Gillespie with a base hit puts the winning run at second base. And the newcomer drives the ball down the line, and for Carlos Sanchez, his first run batted in of the year. It's a game winner. And last night you had all the excitement of postseason play, and hopefully, if the team continues, maybe we can think about that down the road.
And we've got a couple of good young pitchers out there tonight. Quintana was just outstanding last time out against Milwaukee.
I think Quintana has thrown the ball exceptionally well for the last 4 times out. Doesn't have a whole lot to show for it. And head-to-head, you see what they've done against their respective ball clubs. Trevor Bauer, a good young right-hander, a hard thrower, and former #1 draft pick. He's 1-0 against the Sox, a couple of starts, and a 1.38 ERA. Jose Quintana against the Indians, undefeated, 4-0 lifetime with an ERA under 3. So it's a contrast in styles. Bauer's got a big fastball and a good overhand hook. And Jose, he just throws the ball in the zone, pitches a good ball game, and hopefully the offense can come to life tonight.
Well, we're going for 7 straight, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. Xfinity. Your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. Let's take a look at how Terry Francona is going to line up his Indians for the second game of this 4-game series. Jason Kipnis leading it off. Jose Ramirez in the 2 spot. Then Michael Brantley, who is starting to heat it up with Ryan Rayburn, Nick Swisher, Michael Vilas, Brandon Moss, Roberto Perez, and Michael Bourne in center field and hitting 9. The defense and how they'll line up behind Jose Quintana left to right. Melky Cabrera, Adam Eaton, and Avisail Garcia. And it's nice to see him back in the lineup after leaving last night's game. With Connor Gillespie, Alexei Ramirez, Carlos Sanchez with the game-winning hit last night, and Jose Abreu at first. Tyler Flowers gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Jose Quintana. He's just 2-3 this year in 7 starts, but he's thrown the ball a whole lot better than that. In the last 4 times out, he's been brilliant with left-handers, hitting under 100 against him. The umpires for the game tonight: Brian Knight behind the plate, Dale Scott's at first, the crew chief Larry Vanover is at second, and Ron Culpa is at third. So Jose comes in 4-0 lifetime against these Indians, and the Indians this year, a tough time against left-handers. They're just 4-10 against left-handed starters, and Jose is hoping that that trend continues. So they've thrown the ball around the infield. It is 50 degrees at the ballpark with the winds wafting out to right field. And we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Steve, and your what hurts? 50 degrees?
50 degrees.
My behind, it is a lot colder than that.
Oh, but it's a dry 50.
Oh, yeah. All right, anyway, welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for Game 2 of this 4-game set. There's Jason Kipnis. We'll lead it off. Jason had a 9-game hitting streak snap last night when he was 0 for 3. And here is Quintana with the first pitch of the ball game. And he takes ball 1. Jason comes in at .333 for homer, 17 knocked in. That ball hit into right field. Misread by Avi. So that's going to be a triple. The ball sounded like it was hit pretty well. Avi broke in and then just completely misread it.
Well, unfortunately, if he stood exactly where he was, that ball would have hit him right in the chest. But by coming in, then he couldn't right himself in time. Kipnis actually cracked the bat. And maybe it was the swing that fooled him, but he came in a good 4 steps and could not go back. This is a very lonely feeling when that happens, and Kipnis is at third. Not a good way to start this one.
So here's Ramirez, the shortstop, hitting at 183. He was 2 for 3 last night. So the corner's in close. And if he cracked that bat, I'll tell you one thing. That's a pretty good line drive to have a cracked bat on.
It just sounded
pretty deep.
It sounded real strange. Ramirez has 4 sacrifices this year, so he can't handle a bat. He's had 2 sacrifice flies.
And that's top foul.
He thought it's going to be caught. He slows down, and realizing it's not, he goes to third.
That's in the dirt, block. Tyler kept it in front of him.
Infield is back. They're going to concede the run if Ramirez can hit a ground ball to anybody but at the corners.
Just in case. Guard. They're not going to get the thing. They're guarding against a bunt. And not now with 2 strikes. Gap out there in left center. He did not go. Held it up. 2-2. Cleveland comes in hitting at .251 as a club with a 4.44 ERA. This is the 7th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 6, we have won 4 of them. Last year, different tune. And he just got a piece of that.
It was a pretty good pitch. That ball was inside off the plate. Ramirez just trying to stay alive. Spoiled a good pitch. Michael Brantley, one of the best players in baseball in the on-deck circle. Well, he's just gotten better and better.
That's close. Didn't get it. Did not have the plate.
On our Menards pitch tracks, we'll show you that a good attempt by Tyler Flowers of framing that for Brian Knight, but it was inside.
So he gets ahead of him and walks it. Here's Brantley. He's had good success against Jose. He's 10 for 20 with a homer. Michael last night was 0 for 4. He comes in at .336, 4 homers and 22 knocked in.
He struck out last night against Chris Sale, something he's done only 8 times in 119 at bats. So he figures to put the bat on the ball as he usually does. He's one of the toughest guys, if not the toughest in all of baseball to strike out. But if you look at those robust numbers against Jose Quintana, this has not been a good matchup for him.
Outfield. Bunch just a hair. Bobby way over off the line into right center. Throws him. That's low and away. So the count now 2-0. Won't play jumping around on Hove. Bryce Harper, 15th homer. Against the Yankees, that's his 10th homer in the last 12 games.
That one was reviewed by Joe Girardi as it looked like a fan reached over, but to no avail. It was a home run. Bryce Harper is finally showing all of baseball exactly what people thought when Trout came in the league and Harper came in the league. There was a debate: who would you rather have? Would you rather have one? Would you rather have the other? Would you rather have the guy who can throw better? But Harper is really showing that he can do it.
I remember when you asked me that question. Outfield slightly to the left. Debating.
And at the time, what did you answer?
I said Harper because he's left-handed.
I like the fact he's a left-hander also, and he's also a year younger.
But I didn't know Mike Trout was going to morph into Mike Trout.
Boy, he's something. He's really something.
That's either way you go, you're a winner.
Say, yeah, if you can build your team around one or the other of those guys, you'll be in good shape.
That's in the center field, and that's going to get the job done. As here's the throw. Good. It's a good throw by Adam. So it's 1-0 Cleveland.
RBI number 23 in the second sacrifice fly for Michael Brantley. Gibness with good speed tags up. This is a fairly deep fly ball.
Here's Ryan Rayburn, 3 for 16 against Quintana. Well, if two guys come into the league that are very talented, and one of them's right-handed and the other's left-handed, probably 80% of the time, I'm going to go with the left-hander because it's a left-handed game. It always has been and always will be. There you go. Safe. So he picks up his 6th stolen base in 7 attempts.
Ramirez got a bad start. It looked like he spun his wheels to start with. And then not a good throw. So he's able to slide in under the tag. These Indians under Terry Francona, now that they have some speed, they run. They swipe 21. They've been caught just 8 times.
Want to know the count. Breaking ball strike.
Looked like with only 1 out, Ramirez is trying to test the boundaries at second base. He took a good secondary lead, came well down the line. And that's going to force Sanchez to keep an eye on him at second.
He gone.
That secondary lead is what I was talking about. And a good play by Quintana. He held the ball. He waited for him to start to take off, and that's a big run taken off the base early.
He just absolutely telegraphed that one all the way.
Sanchez comes over and puts a tag on him. He's out by plenty as he looks like a lawn dart trying to get back.
High and wide, 2-1. Well, Milwaukee yesterday beat the Tigers 3-2. And Milwaukee, top of the 4th inning in Detroit, leading 7-1 over Detroit. 2-2. He gone. But they pick up a gift run, and after half inning of play, it's the Tigers won, and our guys, the good guys, coming back.
Tyler Flowers and Carlos Sanchez, one of last night's heroes. The defense, and how they'll line up behind Trevor Bauer. It's Brantley, Bourne, and Rayburn in the outfield with Aviles, Ramirez, Kipnis, and Moss in the infield. Roberto Perez behind the plate, and our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is Trevor Bauer. On for his 8th start of the year, he's 2-1, his ERA respectable at 3.67. 44 strikeouts in 41 2/3 innings. Got a very good overhand curveball. former #1 pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks, the 3rd player picked in the country, and yet couldn't get along very well with Kirk Gibson, was a manager at the time. His philosophy and the organization's was not the same, so here he is in Cleveland.
And before we show you our picks to click you at home, select yours, as there's ball 1 to Adam Eaton, who was 1 for 4 last night. Comes in hitting at .233. Stock's hitting at .256 as a club with a 4.29 ERA. That's strike, and it's 2-1. And here at the ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straight away center. And as we speak, it's 48 degrees. That had the top of the zone. So the count 2-2. Yeah, Bauer, he's a bit of a free spirit.
That's one term.
I like guys like that. I'll tell you, ever since they hit Carlos Gomez in the head, he's gone crazy. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Anibal Sanchez went 3 2/3, gave up 7 runs earned on 7 hits. That ball hit hard, but Ramirez has got it. 1 out. Braun homer, that's his 9th. Adam Lind hit his 7th, and Ramos Ramirez hit his 5th. So he's coming off that deal, swinging that stick.
It's nice that we were able to play Milwaukee without Ramirez being in the lineup, because he really makes that lineup a whole lot more formidable.
Well, it's that old saying we say it all the time. It's not who you play, but when you play them.
That worked out pretty well with the injuries they had, especially with Jonathan Lucroy. Because when they get him back, if Ramirez stays healthy, that lineup is going to be a whole lot tougher than it has been.
Well, you stick those 2 guys in there, it changes the whole personality of the ball club.
To make Craig Counsell look like a very good manager, assuming that they get any type of pitching at all.
Pitch is fouled, unplayable. So Aviles makes a catch. 2 down. Right now, let's check out our picks to click. Jim Angiar, director of the crew, with Adam. Steve's pick. And Terry Hanley, Mike Williams, Eric Aldrich, Roger Clare. And now we're going to go with Melky Cabrera. Here's Abreu. Had to hit his 2nd time up last night, extending his hitting streak to 13 games.
For Bauer, his changeup is very much a work in progress. That was a breaking ball he steered in the dirt, much to the dismay of Roberto Perez. But his changeup, he must be telegraphing it, because hitters are hitting close to 500 against the changeup. When that happens, number one, it's not particularly good, but more often than not, he is showing the hitter that he's throwing it by doing something that is different than his normal motion.
All hit hard, but souvenir. Also getting back to the Tigers, they have placed Victor Martinez on the deal. Knee is just killing him. He told me after the game in Detroit when we were over there, he's asking how it was. He says, no good. That's foul back.
It didn't affect his swing from the right side, but it really decimated his swing from the left side. As you can see, left-handed, hitting just 141. That's not any Victor Martinez we've ever seen. Overall 216, and finally got to the point where he couldn't take the pain anymore, and he just couldn't swing the bat left-handed.
He did not go.
The whole Indian infield was trying to sell that call as they started running off after the appeal to first base. It didn't look like he swung. Dale Scott didn't think he swung, and he has the deciding vote.
Two out, and once again the payoff pitch. And he just got a piece of that one. Well, even though Cabrera's numbers were good, he's not where he normally is with that swing of his. It looks like something's ouchy on him.
Well, I agree with you, because normally by this point of the year he's starting to tattoo just about everything, and although he's doing well, he's not doing as well.
As he gets him. And that'll retire the side. 1-2-3, and after one is 1-0 Indians.
Full or 19 or 20 game split season ticket plan. Great locations are still available. Prorated full and split season packages begin during the week of June 5th. To purchase prorated full or split season packages, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000.
Nick Swisher. Swish hitting at 220. 0 for 3 last night. Takes first pitch strike. Right on the outside corner.
Nick is just coming off the disabled list. He had both knees surgically repaired in the offseason. He's just now getting back. A natural right-hand hitter and a much better hitter from the right side.
So he starts it off with a base hit. He is now 5 for 15 lifetime off Kentucky.
They got Swisher along with Bourne to lead this team to what they felt was the promised land. They spent a whole lot of money a couple of seasons ago. It hasn't worked out quite as they had envisioned it. But it can still be a good team because they've got a good bullpen. They're just having some problems scoring runs.
Michaelis 0 for 4 last evening, hitting at 268. A couple of homers. He's driven in 4.
And wisely, Adam Eaton is playing him around toward right center field. The big gap is in left center, but the only way he's going to get it there is if Quintana tries to cut a ball that doesn't get inside.
Big gap out there in left center. Make a good throw. He gone.
I think Sandy Alomar wants him to appeal the play at first base. He's looking over into the dugout.
Well, Vilas does.
Terry wants to kill a little time until he's able to see it. The first thing that Sandy did was look over there. A good effort, the call by Dale Scott. and looked like he's safe at first.
Well, in real time, it looked like he just beat it.
Yep.
So they're not going to appeal?
Well, Terry is waiting. He's waiting to see.
He says, no, come on in.
Wow. Okay. That's good.
Well, that was not definitive right there, but it was close, obviously. Looked like his foot still could have been maybe just an inch in the air. But rack him up. 2 out. Breaking ball strike. Brandon Moss. Brandon at 231, 5 homers, 23 knocked in.
Moss, a free agent out of Oakland last year. Looked like he was going to have an all-world year. 22 home runs before the All-Star break, and he had some hip difficulties. 3 after the break. So a tale of 2 halves for Brandon Moss. Now he is, however, 100% healthy. And normally when he is, he's a force.
He gone. 2 strikeouts after an inning and a half, still 1-0 try. And his Cleveland Indians. So coverage begins at 7 on CSN Chicago. Indians lead at 1-0, run on 2 hits. And we were retired in order first, so it'll be LaRoche, Garcia, and Gillespie. Adam at 229, 4 homers, 16 driven in. A fastball at 92 high. Pop up into left.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Here's Avi hitting at 338, 4 homers, 17 knocked in. Avi had an 11-game streak snap last night. As I mentioned, if you missed that game, it was the Baseball Classic. It's one of the best games that I have seen in years. And on the way home last night, I was just thinking about all the best right-handed curveballs that I've seen in all my years in this game. Camilo Pascual comes to mind right off the bat. Sam Jones had a Toothpick Jones had a great one. There's a breaking ball, couldn't get it. Bert Blyleven had a great one. Brett Saberhagen had a great curveball. And you had a couple of guys. Hoot had a good knuckle curve. Sutton had a good one. I don't think, and I came to the conclusion that certainly I never hit against anybody with a better curveball than I saw last night. I came to the conclusion that might be the best right-handed curveball I've ever seen. It was totally unhittable.
Well, you look at what he did last year. He struck out 269 men, won the Cy Young Award. And you can see why. You really saw it on display last night. Though the Indians have only won 1 of his 8 starts, which is somewhat remarkable. But there you look at Corey Kluber, who was absolutely brilliant. He struck out 30 guys his last 2 starts.
There's a curveball, strikes him out, 2 down.
Take a look at some of the pitches. The fastball and the cutter were very good. But that breaking ball, sharp, quick, and late, was absolutely impossible to do anything with.
So here's Gillespie. Well, on the other side of that page, our guy was absolutely outstanding. It was like 2 gunfighters going toe-to-toe. 2 heavyweight fighters going toe-to-toe. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
What I loved is both of them seemed to relish the challenge of going against the other team's best. I know
they were having fun.
I know Chris Sale loves it.
Yeah, they just told me after the game they were having fun out there. So that didn't take long. It was 6 up, 6 down for Trevor Bauer.
Competition of last night with Corey Kluber and Chris Sale. These are the last 2 starts for both of them. 1-0. You look at Kluber's ERA, minuscule. Chris is excellent. Innings pitched, hits only 6 and 7 respectively. The walks are very good, and strikeouts 18 for Chris, which is wonderful, but 30 for Corey Kluber, which is unbelievable.
Here's Perez. And that's a base hit right back through the middle. Just chops it. So Roberto leads it off with a single, and that'll bring up Michael Bourne.
Roberto was looking for a first ball fastball, and he got one up and out over the plate. And although his batting average 169, what he has done is give them some stability behind the plate. Yan Gomes is coming back probably this weekend. It's a huge loss for the Indians, but he will be back, and they'll be a much better team when he gets back.
Yeah, everybody will recall Verlander when he first came in his first few years had a great curveball, but it was not like Kluber's last night. I think the best description you did it. It was a perfect description of a slap shot that was misdirected by a teammate. That's how quick it was.
Well, the goalie has no chance when that happens, and the hitters last night, it just came up spinning. Tremendous rotation. You couldn't really pick it up, and then it just disappeared. Went to hit it, and it disappeared.
But I just love the competition between Chris, who's going to battle with anybody, and all of a sudden he gets locked up with it. That ball hit well in the center field. Adam back. He's there, and that's out number 1. Just a great, great competitor.
Time now for our Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat, and it revolves around Jason Kipnis. First 21 games in April, he didn't do anything. Look at the first 17 in May. 493. Almost doubled the hits. Runs scored, extra base hits, every aspect of the game. Jason Kipnis is the player he was before he got hurt last year.
And that's pretty good. He's just a good player. Cleveland's a good ball club when they're healthy. When they got Gomes behind the plate.
Gomes behind the plate, Swisher healthy, Bourne playing a lot more than he's playing now. They'll score some runs.
Well, there were a lot of people that picked Cleveland to win this division.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, Sports Illustrated
I know.
picked them to win the World Series.
Well, if they do that, it's going to be one of the most remarkable comebacks. They're 9.5 games back to Kansas City, 14-23 coming in.
Well, we can attest that can be overtaken. Because in 05, we had a 15.5 game lead over Cleveland at one point. And it got down to where it was a game and a half.
There you see the division and the Royals leading the Tigers who are losing big tonight.
Yeah, that was when it got down to a game and a half. We were in Kansas City, and Ozzie, that's when he took over. He just took over. He went on one of his rants after the game with the media, and I say that in a positive way, not a negative way. And from that point on, the media, when they would come to the clubhouse, they wouldn't go to Jermaine Dye or Paul Konerko and say, why are you driving that run? Why can't you drive that run? They went into talking to Ozzie because he was going to be more printable, so to speak.
So he took
and
the pressure
took all
off
the
team.
pressure. Exactly. In fact, Piniella told me he knew what Ozzie was doing. He said that was a brilliant move. And I told Lou, I said, well, you've done that before. He said, yeah, but not by design. Ozzie's was by design. Mine was, I was just upset. So.
Well, this one didn't feel too good. He's got, as you can see, the foot and shin guard, only this one hit above it.
To me, there's always a definitive day. In 02 was the definitive day, was that confrontation we had, fight with the Tigers. And the club just came together. And that Kansas series in Kansas City, when we lost that tough game and Ozzie did that, to me, that was the defining day of the season. We went on and won it by 6 games. In fact, swept Cleveland towards the end in Cleveland. He just turned into that one. That's what you call hitting yourself. You may have swung at that ball. Why don't they check with the third base umpire? That's where Robin's coming out to check on him.
Well, first things first, they got to make sure that he's okay with all those small bones in his hand.
Robin's not.
And Robin, well, he's got no concern about his hand. His concern is about moving a base runner up 90 feet and putting one at first. That one looked like a spinning breaking ball inside that hit the right bottom of the right hand and wrist. And he's taking a look at it now.
Todd, Benjamin, let's see that again, please. Watch it from the side now. Looks like he was going to hit it with his hand instead of the bat.
If that was his purpose, he got it.
Yep. So here's Ramirez, 2 on. One out, 1-0 the count. Made a nice approach to that pitch, just underneath it.
Everybody felt that Ramirez would only take shortstop until their #1 prospect, Francisco Lindor, would be ready to go and play. But Lindor is not tearing it up in AAA. And so Ramirez is getting his opportunity, and he's certainly making the most out of it. He's not hitting very well, but as you can see, he runs well, and he's a pretty good defender at short.
All right. Don't look at it.
That could have been 2, but for a lot of time taken by Jose Quintana as he went to second base. Now he's going to have to face one of their best hitters. This is right back to him. Takes a look. Not a good solid toss. It pulled him wide of the bag. And they can't turn 2.
Boy, that should have been 2 right there. That's a perfect double play ball. When he looked at it, too late.
And it gives their best one big opportunity.
And Brantley knocked in the first run with a sacrifice fly. So runners at the corners, 2 down. Pass into center field. We got a man there, and he pitches out of it. So they threaten, can't score. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. It is still 1-0 Indians. full of adventure, excitement, and magic. Enter to win at csnchicago.com/universal now through Sunday, and that is a absolute wonderful, wonderful trip to go to Universal Orlando Resort. It's awesome. Got some side rides and everything else. Got some great hotels, great food. As here's Alexei. Bauer has retired the first 6 in order.
Avila's close at third.
Curveball. Well, we understand. Benjamin just told me that the draft lottery NBA is tonight. And guess who Frank Kaminsky wants to get drafted by? Frank, of course, 7'1" from Wisconsin. He wants to get drafted by the Chicago White Sox.
Well, he'd make a good catcher.
Well, the ball's going to get, if he wants to stretch out, the ball's going to get there a little. He's going to add 2 or 3 feet to a pitcher's fastball. Meanwhile, 1 out. No, he said it was a dream of his. He's from Lisle, went to Bennett Academy. And he wants to be a White Sox player. Here's Tyler Flowers, takes a strike. Boy, that was a fun team to watch. The Badgers. They would put a little defense on you. And there's the strike. So the count 1-2.
So far, he's used all fastballs to Tyler. A big curveball, which is a good one, he hasn't harnessed quite yet. And that's a changeup that he has not gotten over the plate or come close to it. There you see the 4-seam fastball. He throws it most often, his cutter, and then his curveball.
That ball hit hard, but right there. And that's 2 down. So here's one of last night's heroes. Our 22-year-old second baseman, Carlos Sanchez. Here it was.
Brings it right down the line, and what was the most surprising about that is Zach Walters was playing over toward the line. Looked like he was going to make that catch, but he kept slicing away and found a fair spot to fall.
Took that pitch nicely, and the count 1-0. Well, he knows how to play the game, and he is a good little player. He's going to get better and better and better. Brandon Moss will make the play, so that is 9 up, 9 down for Bauer.
Italian Heritage Night presented by Beggar's Pizza. We take on the Tigers on Friday, June 5th. Italian Heritage Night will feature specially priced tickets and a post-game fireworks show. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/Italy.
Ryan Rayburn struck out swinging on a fastball. Takes a changeup, strike. A run on 3 hits, no errors for them. No runs, no hits, no errors for us. In the top of the 4th. And just tuning in, did not see. Misplayed fly ball in the first inning off the bat of Jason Kipnis. He broke in, the ball went over his head for a triple, and he scored on the sacrifice fly by Brantley, and that has been it. Minnesota leading 7-1 over the Tigers. Excuse me, Milwaukee. And that game now in the top of the 7th inning. Tigers will run on 2 hits through 6. Into right. 1 down.
What's pretty amazing about the young career of Jose Quintana is the fact that although he's thrown especially good baseball, you get a 3.5 career ERA in the American League, you're getting the job done, and yet he finds himself 1 game under 500 coming into this. He hasn't had a whole lot of offensive support, and you look at those numbers career-wise, and it's surprising. In this, his 95th Major League start.
Well, he went for 2 straight years. He was the guy who wore it.
And leading the world in no decisions.
He wore it in the sense that he was the pitcher on the club that did not get any runs. He was a pitcher on the club that did not get any defense.
And had the bullpen squander a few of his wins.
Hit softly, long peg. The Swisher's retired. And I'd like to have a dozen golf balls. Mark Burley's career in the White Sox uniform, on how many times he left a game with a lead, and the bullpen blew it. A lot of times in his career.
Unfortunately, this year, with the guy we have at the end, he's going to be able to nail him down. Not every time, but most every time. Robertson is one of the best around. The stuff coming out of his hands this year has been like fire.
Aviles hit into a 1-4-3 double play. And that is a line drive in the right field for a base hit.
It really is an Aviles special. See where this one appears? It's low and away, but it has the entire strike zone on our Honda pitch tracks. Aviles, all things being equal, will consistently go that way. Right and right center field has been his specialty.
Good breaking ball strike. Bottom of the sixth in Pittsburgh, Minnesota. Leading the Pirates 8-4. Yankees were leading Washington 6-2. It is now tied at 6. Game in the bottom of the 6th. This is the second of this 4-game set. And we'll have Minnesota coming in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, of course, Saturday, Paul Konerko retiring his jersey. And there are some standing room only seats left for that event. And it is going to be, besides the ball game, an event. As that's into left center field. Melky is there. He'll haul it in, and that'll retire the side. We're at the bottom of the 4th. We got to get a hit before we can get a run.
To arrive early as we retire Paul Konerko's number 14 in a pregame ceremony. First 20,000 fans will receive a Paul Konerko replica statue presented by Xfinity. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. And that is one handsome statue.
It certainly is, with my Diet Pepsis in the background. That is a beautiful, beautiful keepsake. That's Saturday, first 20,000 fans. Adam Eaton pops it up, fouls it away.
A strong play by Aviles.
He stayed with it and made the catch. Good catch.
This is just great concentration. He knows exactly where the tarp is. He drifts back as that ball spins back toward the field of play and is able to make the catch. Long run for Ramirez. He can't get to it, but Aviles does.
So here's Melky. He fouled out to Aviles himself. Melky 2 for 4 last night. Came in hitting at .266.
Last 5, Melky has been red hot.
That's at the very, very bottom of the zone. And Ramirez fouling off Aviles. So 2 down.
So far, Bauer has mixed everything up, moved the ball around, mostly done it with his fastball, but nobody's gotten a real good at bat against him yet.
Jose takes a strike. He struck out his first trip. That ball's hit hard. They are not going to get that one. So you can cancel a post-game show on the 2-out double. That's a 7-2 bagger and a 14-game hitting streak. That ball is absolutely killed.
You can go with a fastball in a given spot one time, but when you do it the second time and the second pitch was in the same place as the first pitch, Jose's going to get a good shot at it. This one hop out of the ballpark and a tying run at second base as Perez goes out to talk with Bauer. It's the first time he will be in the stretch, and they want to get their set of signals straightened out. Now, for a lot of young pitchers, the first time they move into the stretch, they have some problems with location. So let's see if Adam can take advantage of that.
He popped up to left field on the first pitch he saw. And he takes up high ball 1. Two and 0. And that's what Perez went out. Tell him. Ivy on deck. Ivy struck out on a good curveball his first trip. Three and 0. Turn him loose. There's a pitch around. So the first walk. And here comes Avi. 2 on, 2 out.
It's good to see Avi back in the lineup. For those of you who did not see the game last night, he had to leave after bending out of the way of a pitch on the way to a walk. Showed some signs of discomfort, was taken out of the game, but starting again tonight.
Fastball at 94.
This turned out to be a huge walk as he bends out of the way, and then you can see by the facial expression that he wasn't all that comfortable eventually leaving the game. They said it wasn't serious, and indeed it wasn't.
Lays off the breaking ball. Count evens at 1.
The last 9, he's been red hot. Starting to get the ball out of the ballpark and drive in runs. And if you have 6 multi-hit games out of 9, it's pretty stout.
There's a base hit. Here comes Jose. He's rounding, and this game is tied at 1. So the pitch around backfires.
RBI number 18 for Avi. He laid off the curveball, and he got himself a fastball. It was middle in, takes it right back up the middle, which is something he's been doing a lot of. Jose with 2 outs, realizing there's nothing to hold up for. He's going to take a look at Joe McEwing, who's waving him all the way. Bourne does not have a good arm, so no chance to get the man who started this with 2 outs and nobody on, Jose Abreu, with his double.
And don't stop now, boys, as here is Gillespie. Connor went out to center field. He takes ball 1.
Anytime you're hitting 300 or above with runners in scoring position, you are normally getting the job done.
Marginal strike goes Bauer's way, so the count 1-1. Outfield, for the most part, straight up. Bit of a gap out there in left center. And Avila's way off the line at third. Big pitch goes Connor's way. 2-1. It's 3-1. Alexei on deck.
He's pretty much tried to stay inside this entire at bat. He got the first pitch up and out over the plate. Everything else has been inside, and he's trying to keep everything high.
Turn him around. And that's ball 4. That'll load him up for Alexei.
So now Mickey Callaway is going to come out and have a talk with his young right-hander. Mickey, good pitching coach, done a terrific job with Bauer. He came over, had a couple of shots at the major leagues last year, 26 starts, and he stuck. But he wanted simplicity of motion. He had a lot of moving parts in his motion, and it was really wreaking havoc with his control. So Mickey took a lot of that movement away. Bauer's been good this year, but he's walked himself into a jam here and wasn't able to put an end to it with 2 outs and nobody on. He hasn't retired any of the last 4 he's faced.
And while he's talking to him, a reminder for you that have tickets on Saturday. Parking lots will open at 11 a.m. Gates at 1:10 p.m. Fans are encouraged to be in their seats by 2:25 p.m. And some standing room tickets are still available. That's Saturday. Paul Konerko will have his number 14 jersey retired.
Now it's time for our AT&T Uverse Multiview. LaRoche, Garcia, and Gillespie inhabit the base paths. The Sox, who have tied it up this inning, looking for more.
Sox pack 2 down. Alexei grounded out to Avila's at third.
Alexei, like most hitters, always looking first ball fastball, but he got a cutter and just moved enough so he caught it off the end of the bat.
Jacks it up. We're talking about checkups on our ball club and technique. Alexei probably has the best technique of any hitter we have. And that is a technique that you have to develop. So a big pitch coming up here, the 1-1. Goes way up out of the zone there.
He caught Perez on the backswing with his bat. And Perez now feeling the effects of that as Alexei looks like he whacked him right on the forearm. That ball was way up and out of the zone.
Big difference in 1 and 2 than 2 and 1. So he's 1 and 2. Now Bauer wants him to start again. last night they were using the last sign. I don't know what they're doing tonight. If it was, that would have been a fastball in. Now they're going to go ahead and just talk and give it to him verbally.
The bullpen for the first time tonight shows some activity with Ryan Webb starting to loosen up.
Bring him in. Bring him on.
Well, maybe a base hit or two, and Bauer will be out of there. But first things first.
Good stuff.
Alexei has got to swing at a strike.
That breaking ball hit into right field. Foul ground. He can't make it.
Well, good effort by Rayburn. A long run as that ball was slicing away. And he got down just in time. Still took a little collision with the wall. Almost caught his spikes. This could have been disastrous as far as Rayburn was concerned. That front spike on the slide just missed getting stuck as he extricates himself from underneath the pad. That couldn't feel too good.
Got him on the hook. But the key 2-out base hit by Avi. And this game is tied at 1.
.710. All fans are invited to stay for a spectacular post-game fireworks show presented by Magellan Corporation. Purchase tickets today by visiting WhiteSox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
A 1-1 tie here in the top of the 5th inning. It'll be Roberto Perez, Michael Bourne, and back to the top of the order with Jason Kipnis. Perez single to start off the 3rd inning. Fake the bunt, takes a strike. To count. 2 balls and a strike.
That time that backswing got Tyler. So catcher to catcher. Perez swings at his changeup. He's well out in front of it, and that huge backswing as he lets it go. One hand flies off. The left hand holds on and whacks Tyler in the back of the head.
2-2. Right at it. So 1 out. And a reminder, the Sox will hold an exclusive autograph session on Sunday, May 24th. Tickets are just $25. And that includes 1 ticket to that event and also 1 lower box ticket to the game. And that autograph session starts at 10:15 a.m. That's on Sunday. This coming Sunday.
You got to watch Bourne, especially on the drag bunt. With the left-hander on the mound.
Breaking ball strike.
Connor Gillespie in at his doorstep at third base, so he's not going to push it that way.
And that one a little high. So 2-1. Bourne hit the ball hard his first time up deep to center field.
What they envisioned when they signed Bourne was an everyday leadoff hitter. But it just has not worked out that way.
A little something off that breaking ball. And a full count. Bourne just 2 for 5 in stolen bases.
He used to be a prolific base stealer, but that was a few leg injuries ago and a whole lot of years ago.
He gone. Hook.
He doesn't like the call of Brian Knight, and he's going to let him know about it.
Well, it had the top of the zone.
It had a piece of the zone. And that's all it has to have. As Francona thought he was going to have to come out to protect his player. But as you can see, Bourne walks away, and the ball had a piece of the upper part of the inside part of the zone.
So here's Kipnis. Leading off the ball game if you're just joining us. Line drive into right field, and Lexi charged, came on, all of a sudden realized it was going to be over his head, could not recover, and went for a triple, and he scored on a sacrifice fly. Not a good swing by Jason. Then he hit himself in the 3rd inning with a pitch, turned right into it. That breaking ball low and away.
It was pretty tough last year to watch Kipnis go through what he went through, which was an injury-plagued season, which yielded very bad numbers. But Jason is a very good player, and now that he's entirely healthy, those 6 home runs and 41 driven in that he had all of last year when he hit 240, they're just a distant memory.
That's off the glove of Alexei. He had to jump. Didn't time it just right.
No, one of the few times where he didn't time a jump right, this is one he could have had. That one was hit off the end of the bat, so it was slicing. Alexei's there. Just tips off the glove.
Well, Jason Jason Kipnis has become one of my favorite players to watch. Plays the game the right way. Plays it the way it's supposed to be played. Plays it hard. He's a good player. Doesn't give up there. So here's Ramirez. He has walked. And he is hit back to the pitcher.
Kipnis 5 out of 7 in stolen bases. Every time he comes to town, a whole lot of friends and family, as Jason is from Northbrook.
And that is trouble. They're going to wave him around. And he'll score for a 2-1 Cleveland lead.
Ramirez took one inside off the plate and was able to just ease it down the line. This one is not a strike, but he had a good look at it. And as it rolls around in the corner, Kipnis scores easily.
So the 2 runs really are 2 runs that could have been kept off the board. 2 balls that certainly could have been caught. Meanwhile, it's 2-1, and here's Brantley. Breaking ball, no.
And Ramirez, who came in with a diminutive batting average of 168 coming into this series, had 2 hits and a sacrifice fly last night, has driven in his 2nd run in as many games here tonight, and has a stolen base to go with it.
There's a strike to even the count at 1. There's another strike, and it's 1-2. Nice block by Tyler.
This is good quick movement to his left, able to take that slider. Catchers know that the slider, the spin is taking it to his left, but when it hits the ground, it's going to come back to his right. So you can't over chase it, and he did it just right.
And that'll do it, but they pick up some sort of a gift run right there, and they lead it 2-1. Game seems to be well in hand for the Brew Crew, who beat the Tigers last night 3-2. So we trail it 2-1 right here. It'll be Flowers, Sanchez, and back to the top of the order with Adam Eaton. And we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Dixon Telephone Company in Dixon, Iowa. They got my money in Dixon. There's a chopper in the hole through for the leadoff single.
Aviles is a jack of all trades as far as the infield is concerned. He doesn't have the most range you'll see at third, and he can't get to this one. So promising way to start the fifth.
Mike Aviles is one of those players that's awfully good on a contending ball club. He's a winner.
Well, he also can play all three of the positions and probably play the outfield if need be.
So here is Carlos, fakes the bunt, takes the ball.
Here's another young man that's going to be a terrific player. He's been the youngest player in just about every step along the way. And he has made an impression just about every step along the way.
Out and around, chops that one foul. First and 30. Carlos.
It would have been very easy when Carlos was sent down from the big club very quickly into the season for him to hang his head. He didn't do that. Won the Player of the Week a couple of different times at AAA.
There's a bunt. Looks to second, goes to first, gets the job done. Well, he knows how to play the game. You don't have to tell him how to play the game. He knows what's going on. He's got tremendous baseball acumen. First time we saw him in spring training a few years ago, you could see he was going to be a big league player.
He lays the bunt down, gets it down, and leaves Aviles with only one play, and that's called by the catcher. That's Perez's call because he has everything unfolded in front of him, and he realized that they couldn't make the play at second base, and he yelled out and then pointed to first.
So here's Adam. He has grounded to short, and he has fouled out to third. A good catch by Aviles. Going down there just at the end of the tarp. And takes first pitch strike.
Bradley has a very accurate arm in left field. He also gets rid of the ball quickly.
Count evens.
There's a look at the residual effects of the CC Sabathia deal with the Brewers.
Good rip just underneath it.
This fastball up and on the inner portion. Just couldn't get to it.
Time is called as they do. A reminder, earlier this season the Sox canceled the annual dog day due to the canine flu outbreak. In replacement of dog day, the Sox are asking fans to tweet photos of their pets using the hashtag #SoxPets. And when you do that, Petco will donate $1 to local no-kill shelters for every tweet using the hashtag. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So that is 2 down.
The only problem when this happens is that because it's not called right away, Adam doesn't know what the call will be, and by the time he does, you can't run. So if that wouldn't have gotten away further, he would have been stopped from going to first base, but it became a moot point as Perez pounced on it.
So here's Melky. Melky has fouled out to third and popped up to short. Takes it right there. Curveball.
Melky caught a break there because that one had the plate. And a big breaking curveball like Bauer has is pretty tough to call. Umpires have a tendency to give up on it.
That was a pretty good pitch to hit right there, and he fired it into the seats left side. That's got a piece of that hook.
He stayed alive on a good curveball. Throws his cutter 85-86. Throws his curveball right around 78, which is a hard curveball. And he can get his fastball up there 94, maybe ease it to 95 on occasion. And he looks like he wants a pitch up.
And that's in the center field. That's a can of corn. Michael Bourne. We're into the sixth, trailing 2-1.
Voucher for 4 free White Sox tickets. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go. Visit whitesox.com/Cooper Tires for more information or to redeem your voucher.
2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for their guys. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for our guys here in the top of the 6th inning. It'll be Rayburn, Swisher, and Aviles to face our Jose Quintana. And that's a base hit.
That approximates what Rayburn has done for his entire career against our Sox, regardless of what uniform he's been wearing.
He is now 1 for 3, a strikeout, a flyout, and that single. And here's Swisher. He singled, into left field back in the second. And he also has grounded to Alexa.
Because of his knee difficulties, he is a very good man for two.
That is a final now. Milwaukee beats Detroit 8-1. Jimmy Nelson, the winner. He's got good stuff. 6'5" youngster. Anibal Sanchez takes the loss.
He held down a pretty potent Tiger lineup tonight, although missing Victor Martinez for a while is not going to help him any.
Well, it's going to diminish also Miguel Cabrera. But they still have J.D. Martinez, Cespedes.
It'll be interesting to see if they move Cespedes behind Cabrera in an effort to get him more pitches and stop all the pitch arounds.
They had J.D. behind him tonight. Two and one to count. Cabrera was 1 for 4 this evening. That is still a good lineup. Anthony Ghost hitting at 324. Kinsler at 314. Cabrera 331, but it's for him fairly soft. Guy who's surprised everybody, Iglesias hitting at 339. That right here, leadoff man aboard and the 2-1 pitch. That evens it up.
Swisher thought this could have been inside. The borderline pitch went Quintana's way.
Well, the Brew Crew, Ryan Braun 2 for 5, homer and 4 RBIs. He's getting it cranked up. Jackknife's out of the way of it. So a full count. Top of the 7th in Kansas City. 2-0 Royals over Cincinnati. Let's go down to Ventura.
That's a big matchup. Johnny Cueto against Ventura. Two good ones.
Out in front.
Jose took a little something off that one and had Swisher way out in front of it. Very happy fan with a souvenir. Off-speed breaking ball. Yank foul.
'A little too high and trouble of brewing. And here comes Coop. First 2 men aboard. Second walk. And as Coop goes out there, fans, you might be noticing that Sox staff players wearing number 9. Of course, that's a memory of White Sox legend Minnie Minow. So you can purchase the pins commemorating the Cuban Comet at whitesox.com/auction, with all proceeds benefiting Chicago White Sox charities. Christine O'Reilly and her crew do such a great job for White Sox charities. Coop has his say. Sox have won 6 in a row and have this 7-game homestand. We win last night 2-1. Terrific classic battle of 2 outstanding pitchers. Our Chris Sale and Air Corey Kluber. But when this homestand is over on Sunday, we got a tough trip coming up. You go to Toronto for 3. Now, on your schedule, that will list that Wednesday game in Toronto at a 6:07 Central start. They have moved that to a day game because we'll have to leave Toronto. We fly into Baltimore on the off day on 28th and play a doubleheader, and that's going to be a straight doubleheader. Corners in close. Bailey squares, bunts it. That's a good one. Sacrifice 3-4.
Perfect bunt for the first sacrifice of the year from Mike Aviles. But he is an inviting double play target. And Terry Francona didn't want to risk the ground ball and a double play, so he asked him to execute. Executes perfectly.
Now, Sox bring the infield in for Brandon Moss, who has struck out and gone out to left. I'll tell you about that schedule. The toughie is coming up a little bit later as we try to get Quintana out of this inning. And that's ball 1. Ground ball. They're going to hold him. Step on the bag and 2 out. Boy. So now 2 out. They can move back.
With the infield in, you need a ground ball. That's exactly what happened as Jose looks over at third, making sure Rayburn's not going anywhere. It was not a contact play. Otherwise, he would have been going regardless of where it was hit. And now they're not going to take a chance with Perez. You got Bourne in the on-deck circle. And a lefty-lefty matchup.
Perez 1 for 2 in this game. And last night he was 1 for 4, but he swung the bat well. So it'll be the 3rd walk issued by Quintana. And here's Bourne. Bourne has gone out deep to center and struck out, called out.
There's only 92 pitches to this point. I say only. But the biggest difference is he has yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. So most of the pitches, or a whole lot of them, have been under duress, and he's got to pitch out of yet another jam here.
2-7-0 for them, 1-3-0 for us here in the top of the 6th inning. Right back to him, and he does. He is not afraid to pitch out of jams. We have seen that, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Abreu, LaRoche, and Garcia.
bullpen. Visit the dugouts and much more. Join us for Family Day on Saturday, May 30th, and support Chicago White Sox charities. To purchase tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org.
Jose Abreu will lead us off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. He's 1 for 2 with 2 out, nobody on. Back in the 4th, he hit a bullet. One hop over the center field fence. Then LaRoche walked on a pitch around, and Garcia with a clutch 2-run shot single in the center knocked him in. Curveball strike. Into center field. 1 out. One thing about young 24-year-old Trevor Bauer, he has not hung many breaking balls. He stays back very well on.
And if he misses, like tonight, occasionally he has, he's missed him down in the dirt.
So here's Adam. He's popped up to left and drew that pitch around walk.
The straight change he got over the plate. And when you're a 1-3, and that means the first round pick, the 3rd pick overall, you've got a whole lot of talent. And Bauer has that. Carlos Rodon was a 1-3 with our Sox, and here he is in the major leagues starting. Some pretty good numbers so far into the 6th inning.
Naked plans to be with us tomorrow. Carlos Rodon against Sean Markham. And in the finale on Thursday night, Johnny Danks against Danny Salazar. Danks has really been pitching his baseball. Full count.
Here's look at John, who had a big game against Oakland. There's Chris Sale. He went head-to-head with the best they have, Corey Kluber, and battled him to a draw.
I like to think of it that Kluber went against the best we had and battled him to a draw. Here is Avi. Breaking ball.
He hit it twice.
That's a 2-stroke penalty.
Fouled it down and then tapped it right out to Bauer.
In golf, you can't hit a moving ball. In baseball, you better be able to hit a moving ball. 0-1 to count. Alfie shading him around to the right.
And LaRoche now has 23 walks, far and away number 1 on the club.
Hard hit, snared, and can't get him. Ball gets away now. Avi on his way to second base. There's the throw, not in time. Hopefully that knee is okay. He's going to take a little time to get up.
This was really good hustle. It took a while to get to the bag, as Ramirez must have been playing him or shading him to pull, and then he realizes when the ball got away that he's got a shot at getting there. So the big man turns it on, beats the play at second, and apparently comes up unscathed, getting a piece of Ramirez in the process. So Ramirez very fortunate he comes away without getting spiked because he caught that ankle. It is E6.
That's his 7th error. So here's Gillespie. Connor has gone out to center and he has walked. Now Bourne moves about 5 or 6 steps over towards left. Big gap out there in right center. And that pitch misses up high.
Be somewhat surprising. The kind of luck that Connor has had and how he's swinging the bat lately with first base open. In a 1-run game, if he pitched to him, gave him anything too good to hit, because you do have the righty-righty matchup waiting for him.
That was a high strike, he called.
This one could have easily have gone the other way. It went Bauer's way. See on the Honda pitch track.
Perez didn't think it was a strike. He really snatched it down. He just rushed that one up there and he was fighting it off.
He's been trying to walk him, as those pitches are all pretty much out of the zone. As you can see, he went high, just a touch lower, and then real high.
He's got a big strike zone right now after that last pitch. And Roberto blocks it.
Somewhat surprising he was able to block that one, because that ball hit way in front of the plate. Tries to throw him a wipeout curveball. Turns into about a 54-footer.
Well, he's got 2 pitches to make a B pitch, or 2 pitches not throwing a strike to have Connor get himself out. That curveball low, so full count. Make it be a strike. Payoff. Boy, there was one. Even though it was up.
I think he tried to throw it even higher than this, and he got in the middle of the plate.
That was a little surprising. Once again, the 3-2. We'll go to the 7th. We trail it 2-1.
to the Paul Konerko's jersey retirement game this Saturday, along with an autographed Paulie bat. 2015 PK Day Sweeps ends Wednesday, so visit whitesox.com/PK14 Sweeps today.
Top of the 7th inning in a 2-1 Cleveland lead. Both runs a little bit tainted, but they're up on that board. As they go back to the top of the order, it'll be Kipnis, Ramirez, and Brantley.
A very chilly night at the ballpark. It says 48 degrees. Feels a little cooler than that.
Kipnis is 2 for 2. And he hit both those balls. They could have been caught. Leading off the game. Line drive into right field. Avi misread it. Came in. Went over his head for a triple. Then in the 5th, he lined one off the glove of Alexei. That's hit right to Alexei. Alexei usually is absolutely spot on in his timing of a line drive or a soft line drive. That one he was not on. And he came around to score on the double by Ramirez. Ramirez has walked. Now it's back to Quintana and then had that RBI double. But we were talking about that schedule, and after Sunday we'll leave to go to Toronto for 3. And on your schedule, that Wednesday game would be a night game, but they moved it to a day. Then we will leave there, go to Baltimore, where we will have a doubleheader on Thursday. Then after the doubleheader on Thursday, we fly down to Houston to play them in a 3-game set. And then we'll finish up a road trip with 3 in Texas. As there's a chopper 2 hopper. So a tough trip for our guys.
We did get a couple of breaks. Toronto changed their game to a day game. That was supposed to be Wednesday night. And Baltimore originally scheduling a 4 o'clock start to that doubleheader. Eventually relented and made it now a 1 o'clock start, so there's a chance to get to Houston before 6 in the morning. But that is going to be a trying trip.
Well, I figured Toronto would change that one to a day game because of the circumstances. I did not think Baltimore would, but they did. And we want to thank them for that. Well, an 11-game road trip. There's a nice piece of hitting by a good hitter. Brantley. Now 1 for 2 with that sacrifice fly.
Toyota Pitch Tracks will show you that he leaned out, took a pitch that he felt was too close to take, even though it was out of the zone. And contrary to belief, there are some hits if you go out of the zone.
Here's Rayburn. He's 1 for 3, led off the 6th. Last inning with a single.
Brantley 6 of 6 in stolen bases. Jose is going to be watching him very closely.
Souvenir right side. scores. Minnesota beat Pittsburgh 8-5. Nolasco 4-1 over Liriano, who's 1-4. And Perkins picked up his 14th save. Top of the 10th, and Washington tied at 6 with the Yankees. Houston leading Oakland 3-1. Top of the 6th, down at the juice box. Can't get it up there. And the count 1-2. Bottom of the 4th inning out in Denver. Phillies and Rockies tied at 3. Baltimore beat Seattle 9-4 at Oriole Park. Boston at home against Texas. Red Sox won at 4-3. Tampa Bay beat Atlanta in Atlanta 5-3. St. Louis mauled the Mets. Mets now struggling 10-2 in New York. Yes, he did. Oh, come on.
Take away that from the side. That's the view that Dale Scott had.
The head got out there just enough. So a full count. And he walks it. Fourth walk issued by Quintana.
And pitch number 108 forthcoming. But
and Robin Ventura forthcoming.
Yeah, it looks like Robin hasn't motioned yet, so he's going to ask him if he's okay. He realizes that he's got Swisher up, who's a better right-hand hitter than a lefty. But this is one of his big 3 in this rotation. And the way he's talking to him, it looks like he's going to leave him in. And leave him in he does.
Well, the way Johnny Danks has been pitching, we got a big 4. And when Carlos settles in a little bit, we're going to have a big 5.
He's got the makings of what could be an exceptional starting rotation. Got to get a few more innings under Carlos's belt, and I think he'll be able to do that. And Johnny had a big game, a big effort out in Oakland.
Well, since he made those changes the last 2 times out, it's just been terrific. So here's Swish, a single, a ground out to short, and a base on balls. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it.
Normally you play Swisher as a dead pull hitter, especially from the right side. With that in mind, Gillespie is back and over toward the line at third with Alexi, not leaving a whole lot of room between him and Gillespie.
Foul back. Well, from 05 to 2013, there were only 2 players with at least 20 home runs in each season between that time period. And that was David Ortiz and Nick Swisher. A little bit high. Oh yeah. Swish didn't like it. At top part of the zone.
He floats a breaking ball, and as you can see, it has a good piece of the zone.
Well, Ron Couple had a good game last night. He got caught up in that duel between Sale and Kluber. And Brian Knight's had a good night tonight. Two. He gone. 7th inning stretch. We need one to tie.
Vote 35 times on the 2015 Assurance MLB All-Star Ballot at WhiteSox.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote early, vote often. Help select the starting lineups for the 2015 All-Star Game. Vote at WhiteSox.com now.
Alexei leads it off here in our half of the 7th inning. 2-8-1 for them, 1-3-0 for us. Trevor Bauer, for the second time this year, has really been good against us.
Jose into the dugout, knowing that undoubtedly that's going to be it for him. Pitched out of a tough jam, was in jams and out of jams all night long. Did not have a 1-2-3 inning, but really battled him tonight.
He's a good one.
They left 9 men through 7.
He's used to that as far as when he does get in a jam, getting out of it. Long way to go. Oh, nice catch. Wow, that's a good catch by Brandon Moss.
Moss is used to a whole lot of foul ground. He's used to playing at the Oakland Coliseum. And you don't have near as much ground here, but he's not worried about that rail as he catches it and secures it.
So here's Tyler Flowers. He's 1 for 2. Angels beat Toronto 3-2. I believe that was Hector Santiago. Went 7 innings, 4 runs, 2 earned, 1 earned. He is 3-2 with a 2.25 ERA.
It's a major comeback for the good left-hander. Traded from the Sox, couldn't really find his way. Seems to have found it now.
And in the trade, I still have trouble understanding. Josh Donaldson hit his 9th home run for Toronto.
You're not the Lone Ranger in having trouble understanding that one.
Boy, the people in Oakland are still, they just don't know why. That's out number 1. 2. Check that, 2.
Zach McAllister loosening in the pen. He was a guy who came on in the 10th inning, and he was the guy who had the loss tacked on it, courtesy of Carlos Sanchez, the man you're looking at.
He is 0 for 1 with a nice sacrifice bunt as he takes ball 1. Josh Donaldson, one of the best players in the game.
And with all due respect to Brett Lawrie, who is a good player, Donaldson is one of the better third basemen around.
Now let me see what my guy did in Baltimore here. They won. Change up. Adam Jones went 1 for 5. He's hitting .331. He is some kind of player and getting better. That breaking ball, chop foul. Brady's in that game 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. He's hitting .346. Yes, he did. And that'll do it. He has a nice, easy 1, 2, 3, 7th, and we'll go to the 8th, trailing by 1. Inside look. Tony Esposito, presented by Cadillac. You'll see us in Chicago. Goes 101 with the Hockey Hall of Famer and legendary Blackhawks goaltender. Premieres tomorrow at 8 on Comcast Sports. Now, we got to get a better picture. He's much better looking than that. He's a handsome guy.
And we get a new pitcher coming into the ball game, and it is Zach Putnam. On for the 15th time. He's 1-1. His ERA .485. 17 strikeouts, however, in 13 innings. And he's got to hold him right there.
Yeah, that ERA, most of it coming in one bad outing.
It's a problem when you have limited innings early in a season. You have one pasting, and all of a sudden you're going to live with it every time out after that.
Here's Chisenhall. He's going to hit for Mike Aviles. Yeah, that's why numbers can be so misleading in baseball. That's first pitch strike.
Chisenhall's only had one opportunity to pinch hit this year, hitting .228 overall with 3 home runs, 16 driven in.
Very quickly 0-2. Well, we may have seen the start of something good for the Oakland A's with that Max Muncy. He homered again tonight. We saw his first major league homer. And he almost hit another one in his next at bat. Left-handed hitter was Pop. Just got a piece of it. Washington beats the Yankees 8-6 in 10 innings. Teixeira homered for the Yankees. That's his 12th. Desmond, number 3. Harper, number 15. Ramos, number 2. Zimmerman, number 5.
And the Nationals are finally where everybody thought they would be, which is atop the leaderboard. They are now tied with the Mets.
He gone. Well, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat the Nationals.
Now that lineup has come together, start to hit. They always had the pitching. And that is one good, solid, top-to-bottom baseball team.
Well, they get a steady, big RBI man in 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and Zimmerman.
Yeah, he's a good one.
And then they've got the kid coming on, showing what he can do. And if he just keeps going, they're going to walk off and leave everybody.
I think that's probably the way it's going to happen.
Brandon Moss, 0 for 3, a strikeout, a flyout, and a ground out. Oh, yeah, had him way out in front.
That splitter the last few times out for Zach has been the splitter we saw last year when he had such a fine year, a very consistent year, actually the best out of the pen of anybody.
One-two pitch. Well, I'll be really deep out there, right? But not deep enough.
There is no doubt of the strength of Brandon Moss. He hit his 6th home run. He's driven in 24. That's the reason why the Indians picked him up. And I think Don Cooper real unhappy with the fact that it made him look very bad on splitters, and that appeared to be a high fastball or a cutter. It's a forward home run replay. Whatever it is, it's not a splitter, and it's gone.
So here's Perez. He's 1 for 2. Big gap out there in right center. Two-0 pitch. There's a strike. For our guys in our half of this inning, the 8th, will be top of the order: Eaton, Cabrera, and Abreu. Trevor Bauer's had his way with us over tonight. But we gave him a couple of runs, and now the home run makes it a 3-1 game. He gone.
There's that home run on a high cutter as opposed to a strikeout looking.
Bourne can't get it. Michael's 0 for 3. He's going out deep to center, struck out, bounced back to the pitcher. Bounced back pretty hard. Talking about Zimmerman in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Well, you can also add the 10th because he had a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 10th to win that game.
That hard ground ball right back at Quintana got him out of a bases loaded 2-out jam.
That's outside. Bourne made the All-Star team with Houston in 2010 and Atlanta in 2012. Two and two. They had 37,355 at Nationals Park. Payoff pitch. There you go. Struck out the side, but threw that long one to Moss, and it's a 3-1 game. All right, Chuck, thank you very much. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning here. 3-9-1 for the Tribe. 1-3-0 for us. Lonnie Chisenhall remains in the game at third base. So here's Adam Eaton. Adam is 0 for 3. Corners in close. Outfield, for the most part, straight up. And the count evens 1.
Time to mount a comeback, and the best way to do it is to get the leadoff man aboard. Something Adam has not been able to do against a very tough Trevor Bauer.
I call a break there.
And the pen is up and going. Mark Zipchinski is the left-hander, and Brian Shaw the right-hander. Shaw came over in the same deal that brought them Trevor Bauer.
One.
That went up and out of the zone, and that looked like he might have gotten the benefit of that call for ball 4.
Payoff pitch. There's a shot and a good way to start. That's a bullet.
Very similar to the pitch before, only a touch lower. And Adam goes up, drives it into center field. So that indeed will bring the tying run to the plate.
Melky has fouled out, popped up, and flied out. Short lead. Can't get doubled up here on a line drive. And that's how to play left side.
Zipchinski is getting ready for LaRoche, who is due up after Abreu. Pitch number 112 on the way. And no thought yet of Terry Francona coming out.
That ball hit high. Stretch. Nope. Back on the track. He just missed it. Dead. Coming.
Bauer tried to spend the entire evening to Melky, throwing him upstairs. And fortunately for Bauer, unfortunately for Melky, this ball just a touch higher, and Terry Francona knows that he dodged one there. And he's probably not going to allow him to dodge anymore as Brian Shaw gets ready to come on in for the 20th time this year. So as Shaw runs in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Of Trevor Bauer, and he had good stuff. Good curveball. More times than not, a pinpoint fastball. And he went 7 1/3. Gave up only 4 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. And he gives way to our Honda, called it a pen, and that is Brian Shaw, who's been a very busy man, as you would expect, in a Terry Francona bullpen. You're going to be out there a lot. For the 20th time, his ERA 2.13, came over from the Diamondbacks, and he's been a good one. But right-handers have hit him better than left-handers, which is unusual, and he's going to look in at Jose Abreu representing the tying run.
Abreu's faced Shaw 5 times. He's 0 for 5. Just a short lead. There's a breaking ball strike. Ball gets away. That'll probably be a pass ball.
That was a hard slider that was very catchable. Just that Perez missed it, so it is indeed a pass ball. Now just a base hit. We'll get this game 1 run closer as Perez very unhappy with himself. Knows he should have caught it. Just
about
didn't.
A long hit.
That's okay too.
That breaking ball, so 3 in a row, and the count 2-1.
With runners in scoring position, Jose has been, as you would expect, very good, as he has been in just about every other offensive category.
And the count 3-1. 4 straight breaking balls. That right here. You got to have that specter in your mind. And there is ball 4. Francona, here he comes bouncing out of that dugout. He has made the call. Zaczynski. So he'll come out of that pen. Brian Shaw will depart, and we'll be back.
Mark Zaczynski on for the 19th time. He's 1-1. His ERA up close to 5. 5 walks in 9 1/3. That's not particularly good. Opponents hitting .306. That's not all that good. So a chance with the game on the bases, and a go-ahead run at bat in Adam LaRoche. Chance to get a little closer to these Indians.
And they got a modified shift on for him. Ramirez is right behind second base. Chisenhall well off the line at third, outfield for the most part straight up. Adam is 0 for 1 tonight with a couple of walks. Takes first pitch strike. Nice block right there by Perez.
Zabczynski originally signed by Toronto, found his way to the Cardinals in 2011, traded to the Indians in 2013. And since he's been traded, he's been a very busy man.
Big pitch right there goes Adams' way. It's 2-1.
He got his fastball. It was thigh high on the inner portion. Just able to foul it off.
Two-two pitch. Two down.
Well, that's going to be the only man Zabczynski is going to face as he strikes him out on a slider way wide of the plate. And Terry Francona is going to use at least 4 pitchers to try to get out this inning. So as he walks out, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Kellen, who is the closer of this team, on for the 16th time, 0-2 ERA, 7.07. 10 walks in 14 innings. Has not been a particularly good year for him. And he's got a couple of wild pitches, so he inherits Sox base runners at first and second. And a chance for one of our hottest hitters, Avi Garcia, to do some damage.
Cavastillo has faced him 3 times, has 2 hits. 2 on, 2 out. We trail it by 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And he takes ball 1. Cody out of Orlando, Florida. Boone High School. And there's a a strike. 96. In high school, Ron Karkovic, Joe Oliver, Mike Moroth, Paul Wilson. And John Hart was a coach there, high school coach. Now president, not president, but general manager of the Atlanta Braves. There's a shot, but foul.
Cody's had his problems with right-handers this year. Their on-base percentage against him is up close to 500, which is unusual for a guy with his stuff. He was originally a starter, but when they moved him in the bullpen, he picked up 3 or 4 miles an hour.
One and two. 2-2.
Connor Gillespie waiting if Avi can keep it alive. That was a good breaking ball, and Avi was able to foul it off. He stayed right with it. Looked like he thought he had a good shot at it, although this one broke just out of the strike zone. He did a nice job of able to just get a piece of that.
April 20th, Cody came along. Bottom of the ninth inning here. Trevor Bauer had started that game. We were losing 3-0. We scored 4 in the bottom of the ninth to win.
He really struggled at the beginning of this year.
Once again, the 2-2 pitch. Got him. Got him. Pretty good pitch. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the ninth. We still trail it 3-1.
Trying to preserve that 2-run deficit. Jennings on for the 15th time. Doesn't have a record. Does have a 6.32 ERA. 11 walks in 15 2/3. And surprisingly, left-handers have hit him substantially better than right-handers.
Again, like Zach, that ERA up there because of one bad inning. But here we go. 3-9-1 for them. 1-4-0 for us here in the top of the ninth inning. Kipnis, the leadoff hitter. He is 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. And if Funny thing about it is both those times, that triple and that single could have been caught or should have been caught. But they weren't. And we trail it by 2. Breaking ball, good one.
Scott Carroll starts to loosen in the pen.
And breaking ball off the plate. And that's popped up left side. One out. So here's Ramirez. 1 for 3 with an RBI.
He's played a big factor in both of these ball games, driving in 2 runs. Indians only have a total of 4.
Well, this is the 7th time we played him. We won 4 of the first 6, but he has been impressive against us.
Well, after the Indians had Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop, and Asdrubal was losing some range in the latter portions of his stay with the Tribe, Ramirez has plenty of range. He's been very refreshing defensively. Although he has made some careless errors, overall he's been a plus for the Indians.
Got time, takes it, makes it. He gone. 2 down.
Good setup at first base by Jose as he leaned well into foul territory so that Tyler could get an angle. He didn't have much of an angle as he was scampering after it. You see Jose leaning out on the grass. And they got him.
Brantley, 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. Takes first pitch strike. That ball hit hard into left field, but we got a man there. So a nice quick inning for Dan Jennings. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. We need 2 to tie, boys.
moment came off the bat of Brandon Moss. He got a high cutter, and he rode it out of the ballpark. It gave the Indians the present lead they enjoy at 3-1. That a big insurance run. As Moss hitting his 6th home run of the year. So Cody Allen, who came in to get a big out last inning, is on to try to nail down a save.
All right, Connor, start us off, buddy. Connor has faced Cody 6 times, and he has 1 hit. That was in, and this is now. First pitch strike, that one at 95. Cody's got good stuff. Connor tonight has fly to center, walked, and struck out. Our lone tally came back in the 4th. 2 out, nobody on. Vicious double by Abreu. A walk to LaRoche. Key 2 out RBI single by Abbasiello. 1-1 to count. Big pitch right here in the scheme of things. And now Cody Allen controls the count. That evens at 2. That one at 96. One out.
Big fastball, tailing away, and he throws it right by him.
And here is Alexei. He has faced Cody 8 times, and he has 2 hits.
Alexei got a break on that one because that ball had the whole plate right down the middle.
There is that's a neat buckler right there.
That one will do this to a whole lot of people. Good rotation, and it was right there.
That's popped up right side and playable. So we're down to our last out to keep this 6-game winning streak going. 2 down. That curveball last night from Corey Kluber will make you step out of that box and try to clear your sinuses up.
Emilio Bonifacio has come on up to pinch hit.
So Bonnie.
And this is an unusual way to loosen up, but any way it takes on a very cold night down to 45 degrees. Trying to keep it alive.
Bonnie is 1 for 3 against Cody. Fakes the bunt and takes the strike. That one at 96. We're down to our last bullet. 0-2 the count. And this ball game is over, and so is our 6-game winning streak, as Cleveland wins it 3-1. And Trevor Bauer is just too tough tonight.
Trevor Bauer was very good. Unfortunately, the defense was a bit too generous getting out to that early lead. The Indians and their bullpen made it hold up, and series is tied at 1.
Well, we gave them 2 of the 3 runs, though, and that hurts a little bit. But our player of the game is 24-year-old right-hander Trevor Bauer. So for my partner Steve Stone, our director Jim Angio, our producer Todd Benjamins, and our associate producer Dave Ross, our technical manager extraordinaire Mark Harper, also for the mayor Mean Joe Brew, Frank Leone, Doug Bullard, Dave Cella, Wynn Griffiths, and also Jim Corno, our executive producer. Jim Corno Jr., this is Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.